hauled before the courts this morning for that John Bull robbery. A trade union is expressing concern regarding the labor movement in the country. And the police force summer camp coming to a close.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news, police making a big break in the John Bull robbery case. The heist that took place over 2 weeks ago in the Port Lucayan marketplace. The robbers, who were dressed as women, took off with watches valued around some $500,000. The suspects reportedly fled the scene on foot and then made their escape in a stolen black Infiniti car that was later recovered. This morning, 2 male residents of New Providence appeared in the magistrate court in Freeport to face formal charges. Italia Hall has the details.
Onlookers watched as the two accused men entered the court. Both men were arraigned in Magistrate Court Number 1 before Deputy Chief Magistrate Debbie Ferguson. 31-year-old Caradon Coburn of New Providence, dressed in a blue and white striped shirt, and 23-year-old Diego Carey of Soldier Road, New Providence, dressed in a dark gray jacket and using crutches, are both charged with conspiracy to commit a robbery on the 23rd of July, where 35 men's and ladies' Rolex watches were stolen, as well as 2 men's Breitling watches from John Bull in Freeport. Coburn is also charged with possession of proceeds of criminal conduct, as he was allegedly found in possession of some $21,281 cash in Bahamian and U.S. currency on July 29th. He is represented by attorney Dion Ferguson. As for Carey, he is also charged with dishonestly receiving 5 Rolex watches valued at $58,400 on July 31st. He is represented by attorney Osmond Johnson. Both of the accused men pleaded not guilty to the charges and chose to have their cases heard in the magistrate court. Deputy Chief Magistrate Ferguson asked Carey why did he have crutches. He explained that he owns a water sport company in New Providence and broke his femur bone a month and a half ago while taking part in a water sport activity. But while crying, he claimed that he was tortured while in police custody and was not allowed to make a phone call, adding that attorney Osmond Johnson only knew about his case because a photo of him went viral on social media. As it relates to Carey's claim of being tortured, police prosecutor Veron Rolls stated that it is only an allegation. The prosecutors and counsel for Coburn then debated whether or not bail should be granted. Counsel for Coburn raised the point that his client does not have any antecedents, while the prosecutor said that both defendants can be flight risks, as they are from New Providence. Bail was denied for both men, but they were advised that they can apply to the Supreme Court for bail. In the meantime, Coburn and Carey were both remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until trial on October 4th of this year. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Italia Hall.
As the government works to seal a deal for the purchase of the Grand Lucayan Resort, the leader of the organization that represents line staff at that property is applauding the government for committing to step in if the need arises. Sabrina Brown reports.
President of the Commonwealth Union of Hotel Services and Allied Workers, Michelle Dorset, is optimistic about the future of the Grand Lucayan Resort. She says she's confident that the government will do all within its power to ensure that the island's anchor property remains open, securing the jobs of hundreds of Grand Bahama residents. The union leader is encouraging the hotel workers to remain hopeful, noting that there is no need to fear. Dorset also noting that she is confident that the government will bring in quality resort brands and the right management companies to put the beachfront property back on the right track. The Grand Lucayan has been partially closed for almost 2 years now, and a number of buyers were said to be involved in the sale of that property, including the Wynn Group. However, during a recent trip to Grand Bahama, the nation's leader Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis noted that the sale is far from complete. The Prime Minister also noting recently that the government is still prepared to purchase the Grand Lucayan if it cannot find a buyer. The Commonwealth Union leader says she believes that further details concerning the purchase of the hotel could be released soon, and she says she will remain focused on ensuring that her members are protected. She says the union plans to meet with its members next week to outline the way forward. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
A local trade unionist is expressing concern regarding the state of the labor movement in the country. Tonight, the veteran union leader is calling on the organizations that represent workers throughout the country to return to the strong forces that they once were and to be more than what he calls contract negotiators. Area Vice President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Quintin LaRota, says that unions began as a movement with a lot of support from the general public. He says that the average Bahamian could have identified with the leaders of unions and the greats of the past. But now, he says, he believes unions are not as strong as they used to be at a time when the trade union movement is needed more than ever.
The world is changing quickly. We have things like WTO, other international agreements, international agencies advising the government, multilateral and bilateral arrangements they're signing on to, and the unions must be intimately involved. We must be educated. We must know what we're doing so we can properly advise our members. We were once heavily reliant on industrial action tactics. We have a change in the worker, where the average worker don't only rely on the union for mobility. They look at their education, getting a degree. They rely on other things. So we have to become more relevant to the worker so that the worker could continue to support the unions.
He says that unions must also be more innovative and use intelligence to address concerns. He says they must be tactical and smart.
Some of the old ways, they're not going to intimidate the government anymore, so we have to adjust. And when we do use any industrial action tactic, we have to mean business, shut it down, and don't play. It cannot be half-hearted, half-stepping without any effect, because they just look at you and they just move on. And they just move on. We have to be taken seriously. And a part of being taken seriously is not just the ability to create industrial action, but also the ability to articulate a vision and an argument using laws, practices, best policies, just human rights, human dignities to create a irresistible argument on behalf of your people.
The union executive says that leaders must also be persons of integrity.
You criticize an employer for not giving their employee the benefits they're entitled to, and then you as a union deny your employee his or her benefit. You're a hypocrite. And the public will lose confidence in you and not take you seriously. And the members also will see it and say, you know something, this isn't something I should be a part of. And so we have to have integrity. We have to have the respect of the country, the respect of our employers. And they have to look at us as reasonable, but strong and tough.
The Royal Bahamas Police Force Summer Camp program coming to a close on Friday. For several weeks, young persons from east to west on Grand Bahama were able to see officers of the police force in a different light as they spent time mentoring and having some fun with the children of Grand Bahama. Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, noting that her daughter also took part in the camp and had an exceptional time.
As parents, I know many of us are very happy to know that our children are in a safe environment in which they are learning about discipline and teamwork and also about doing right by themselves. I think that over the years, this camp has indeed done that for our young people in this community. And on a personal note, as well as that from the government, I do believe that all members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force should be given a round of applause. Campers, join me in thanking them for everything that they do.
Bishop George Thompson of Community at Heart Tabernacle Church of God of Prophecy telling the young campers that they should be grateful to the officers and volunteers for their hard work and dedication to the camp.
I say to you, young people, hundreds and thousands of people have lifelong changing decisions through the camping ministry. Many summer camp participants return home with a renewed passion to give service to their fellow man. It was at camp that I established a relationship with Christ and made lasting friendship with peers who have become leaders in both the church and the community. It was in the camping program where I was taught Christian values and morals, and the many fun times and the recreation and the tutoring and the mentoring brought out the best in me and helped me to become the person I am today.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us, there's more news right after this break.